Good afternoon, good evening, whatever you want to say. I just know it's the first day of fall and it is blazing hot out there. It was freezing this morning and now it is now hot. So I wanted to do a story time, guys. Yes, story time. I'm gonna leave the video at the end of the video with pictures of where I came from. I'm gonna talk about my early years and talk about a little about me. So yes, I was born in March in 1970. Yes, I am 50, people. I know I look my age, but if you really can tell, I got no wrinkles, guys. So yeah, I have no wrinkles. No, dead serious. No wrinkles. No wrinkles. See. No wrinkles for 50. I have no wrinkles anywhere. Just vitiligo. So, with that being said, I was born during the Vietnam conflict. And just like America, sticking their nose in wherever business they shouldn't have. But this time, I'm not going to be mad because if my dad wasn't there because of our country's nosiness and inclination to be somewhere they're not supposed to be, this is the one time I'm going to say kudos to America for sticking your nose into somebody else's business. If you don't know, the war wasn't started with us. We just happened to stick our nose into it. So, I was born. My dad was sent back. First of all, I was born in Udon Thani. Udon has a Royal Air Force base. So that's where my dad was stationed at during the war. He wasn't actually in Vietnam. He was stationed in Thailand. And when he was sent back home, he had to leave my mom and me behind because they weren't married. So this is this is the story that was told to me. Of course, I was a baby. I had no idea when this all happened. So this is the story that's told by me, by relatives. And they said my grandfather had a house where they live off a marsh, and my dad would be down there by the water crying and crying and crying because he left me behind. He felt like he abandoned me, but he couldn't take me because of the, I forgot what they called it. I didn't want to say embargo. I don't remember what it was called. I'm not going to say the wrong word. I've been saying a lot of words wrong lately, but I've been fixing myself. But me and my mom were left behind in Thailand. And my dad had to borrow money, from what I heard from my grandfather. He purchased a car over there too, a Plymouth Duster, 1970 Plymouth Duster. It was the ugly color yellow I've ever seen. And he had that for a lot of it. I think he had it till I graduated in 88. So he had to, I guess, grease some palms in order to get me out of there because they didn't let no one leave. They would not let a soul leave. And then one night, I heard about this. I was just actually flipping through the cable channels. You know, like 200 channels with nothing on it. It was in the middle of the night, and I think it was after I had my second child. I couldn't sleep, so I ended up watching C-SPAN. And there was a group of adults, mixed children. And they were from the Vietnam era. And that caught my attention. So they were talking, and I come to realize that if I would have stayed there, I would have been shot and killed because they hated Americans being there. Because, like I said, they were nosy and shouldn't have been there in the first place. So that made the Vietnam people hateful towards Americans. And if I would have stayed, they wouldn't have known I wasn't full Thai. All Asian American kids were hated and they were killed. So I never knew that tidbit. I was in my 20s when I found out about this. So I was like, man, I came into this world with hate surrounding me. So my dad was able to get us over here, and he was, I don't want to say deployed. He was stationed at Nellis Air Force Base in Las Vegas, Nevada. That was the first place that we came to when we were brought over here from Thailand. I'm ever grateful for the help that my dad got for us to come over here, because, you know, I would have either been a stripper, prostitute, and died from AIDS, period, because AIDS was bad. And I was grateful, but my life as a young child was very confusing. And I'm gonna suggest this to you guys: watch Heaven and Earth. It is an awesome movie. It's about a Vietnam vet that came back home after serving in the war, and it's a messed up story, but I can't remember who was the main character played by. But Heaven and Earth, guys, watch it. It's an amazing movie. And but having a mom that doesn't barely speak English, constantly talking in Thai, which I never learned, and my dad who spoke English. So, you know, when you're a toddler and you're hearing all this and you're about to go to school, I had problems speaking English. So I went to get help. I mean, I hated, from then on, I hated English class. I hated English. I hated learning English. But darn it, if I don't speak better than Americans that were actually born here. When you have a multi-language household, it really confused you. And then with having that issue, even though my dad was in the military, and the military is very diverse, very, very diverse cultural bases to be at. But when you get off the bases, that's when you get the dirty looks. That's when you get the hate. I've been hated on since the day I was born, guys. I just told you. So, and then I had difficulty speaking English. But I didn't ever let anything bother me. I made some friends, and I was bullied too, by the way, because I had, you know, I didn't speak English very well. So I had to learn things. I was a little bit slower, but, you know, once I got over the hump, I made honor roll. I'm a smart child, trust me. But I had a lot of things going against me, and so that made my childhood a little bit difficulty. And then I looked different because I didn't have vitiligo all my life. I was actually one color. I was tan. I was like tanner, and so people thought I was Mexican because of my combination. People think to this day I still look like a Mexican. So, well, we lived in Las Vegas till I was about 8, and then my dad got stationed into Holloman Air Force Base, which is in near Alamogordo, New Mexico, White Sands Missile Base. And I was bullied there too. I even had my bike stolen. I had a black friend, African American friend. Let me be politically correct. I gotta start correcting myself because I don't like being called a color. I don't think everybody should be called black, white, yellow, and everything like that. So, but I had a friend who was African American. I think he had a little bit of sugar in his tank. His name was Richard, and I loved him. He was my best friend. But this big obese kid, pushed me down, stole my bike. My parents got pissed. But what was I supposed to do? He was like 200 pounds, and I was like barely 70, 60, 70. I was skinny. I wasn't a fat kid. So, because I was riding bikes all day long. I was out playing like a kid. I did not gain weight until I got kids. Until I had my pregnancies, and that's when all my weight got put on. So, we got to Holloman Air Force Base, and we had to live off the base for a while because they didn't have housing available for us. So I would live in town, and I got bullied at that school. But I had a very awesome teacher. Her name was Mrs. Kessinger. I wish I know if she was still alive, but I doubt it because I'm 50, and she was probably 40, 50 when I was little. So that was 40 years ago. But she was an amazing teacher. We were pen pals after I moved back home to Maryland. And even when I got older, I still wrote to her. But Yeah. So we lived there till I was about 10-ish. Then my dad retired. At first, we were supposed to be deployed, stationed to Germany, and then it didn't happen. But yeah, that's my younger years. And since I can't make my video very long, I'm going to put some pictures of where I'm from. And thank you for listening. I will talk more about my life in a future video. You guys have a blessed night. And I hope you guys will watch me again. Have a great one.